Oh, here's another failure from PlayStation here. Resident Evil Village launched sales are the series' worst since 2005. Created okay, I have to try to pronounce it. Dimitarasu wasn't convincing enough in Japan. Yep, last week the latest installment in the Resident Evil franchise was a big failure. Here, Resident Evil Village launched to critical acclaim on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, but still bans except 3 million copies. But not all of that was in Japan. Here we have the total sales of every game in Japan, every main game. So Resident Evil 1, this is the first week of every game. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Code Veronica, 0, Resident Evil 4, which is only on the GameCube, on one console. This released on two consoles, and it also released on PS2 a week later. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, and Resident Evil 7, and we have Resident Evil Village for the PS5. Yep. 38,000 copies. And that's, of course, excluding the PS4 versions. Yeah. So, yep, the game has sold massively 321,000 copies in 2017. But Resident Evil Village were approximately 150,000, with Frozen with digital sales being up to 300,000 copies. However, globally, Resident Evil Village has been a great seller, and the franchise is still an all-time seller at a great margin. Here we at. Well, we actually know that 10% of the 2 million globally was in Japan, which means 150k physical, and 150k for 300k in Japan. And of course, that digital sale includes PC as well. It includes PC sales as well. Digital, which I bet that's more like 40 to 50% PC sales. Now, not on the PlayStation. And this is what we get. Okay? This is what happens when you make your games only on PlayStation in Japan now. They do not sell as well for series expectations. Okay? Because Sony in Japan has been on the decline. When you compare that to Nintendo Switch is doing extremely well in Japan compared to Sony's PS5. Okay, the PS5 and PS4 sold like 20,000 copies compared to the Switch's 100,000 copies. And Pokemon Snap did better on the Switch than Resident Evil 7 did on two consoles. Two consoles! Okay? And they're saying it's because they're westernizing their Japanese games. No, it's because they're putting the games exclusively on Sony. And no one is buying their games on Sony. And yes, they are westernizing Resident Evil. But they are exclusively putting the consoles on Sony platforms. Okay? Sony platforms. Okay? Sony is not unpopular here. Okay? Sony is not unpopular here, but they're very unpopular now in Japan. Okay? Here. Okay? Let's look at the most recent Famitsu sales. Okay? Like I saw in the Final Fantasy videos. Okay? Famitsu sales here for 510 to 516. Yeah. Pokemon Snap, which is 3 weeks old, is at third place. That's selling far better than Resident Evil Village. Okay. On two consoles. Yeah. Nintendo, of course, is destroying Sony. We have the Switch and Switch Lite sales. Both consoles are destroying the PS5. Okay? Both the Switch and the Switch Lite are destroying the PS5. It's going to be disastrous if the Switch Pro is real for the PS5. It's going to be disastrous for Sony. Okay? Disastrous. The PS5 is selling poorly as it is. Okay? Xbox is actually outselling the Xbox Series X and S are actually outselling the Xbox One in Japan. But the PS5 is selling just as bad, even worse than the PS4 in Japan at that same time. Okay? And expect this generation, this console generation, to see all these games that have been Sony exclusives for a year, for console generation after console generation. Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Monster Hunter, all return back to Nintendo. Because Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy were originally, and of course Resident Evil as well, all of these massive franchises in Japan return back to Japan, Nintendo. And what does he see? These games do better on Nintendo than in Japan, than Sony. And Sony will basically be like the Xbox in Japan. Dead. Okay? And the Xbox is kind of a niche console as well. And yep, that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.